We're live.
Yes, we are.
Woohoo! We're supposed to wait 10 seconds. Oh my God, Sylvia.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. And you know what's funny? 10 seconds. It's like 10 seconds increments. And this is
Wow.
exactly, my friends out there, what our talk is about today, amongst other things. So welcome everyone to the Choice Challenge Day 2, dos, zwei.
Yes, welcome and hello, Susanna. And I know we have a couple other companions that are going to connect and join us soon. But hello and hello, everyone that's chosen this challenge. We had an incredible one with Simone yesterday, and a couple of us facilitators are joining you today with this topic of what I'm looking for the topic.
Notice every single choice you make throughout the day. So Sylvia and I, we hope we're making sense because we're both coming from day 2 of Maestro, which is a very frying class. So please bear with us. So notice every single choice you make throughout the day. Wow. I mean, like one of the things that this brings up, and we're supposed to talk slow for the translators, sorry. One of the things that this brings up is the thing that usually when we live our lives, it's on autopilot. And or that's how we have been taught. This is how so many people out there do. They're just like, okay, I'm going to drink my coffee, and then I'm going to drive to work, and then I'm going to, whatever, do this and do this, and have my whole day planned out, and I have projected what I will do my whole day. And this is what you see out there. It's like, and how much have you guys made that yours rather than, wait a second, what would I like to choose in this moment, in these 10 seconds? What is it I know creates this moment that creates also my future and the day the way I would like to have it? And without having to know how that looks like, like, not, okay, I have to do this so this result will show up, but hey, what makes me lighter in this moment? What opens up my world in this moment? And the trust that following what's light and choosing what opens up your world will actually create greater, even if you might not know how it will look like.
It's interesting, Susanna, because years ago, I was one of those people that enjoyed making my checklist because I enjoyed checking the box.
Me
Right? So
too.
if I could fill it up like 15-minute increments, like that was just the joy. And then if I did something, I'd add the box just to be able to check it off, whatever that was. But there was something about acknowledging what I was doing, accomplishing that somehow had value of who I was being in the world or what I was, my meaningful day. And then I heard about this tool that you're talking about, choosing your life in 10-second increments. And I remember I took a day and living in Northern California, lots of beautiful places to drive. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to head to the coast. Bodega Bay, beautiful, about a 40-minute drive. And then I allowed myself, and it wasn't exactly 10 seconds, but I gave myself the day not to have anything particular or place to go. And it's like, oh, I'll stop at this coffee shop. Oh, no. Oh, there's another one. And it almost seemed insane and that sense of being lost. And I remember then I got to Bodega Bay, and then it was like, well, do I head back home? Do I head further south? Like where? But it was this energy of the question and the joy of living. I remember at the end of the day, it was like, wow, like I didn't have anything planned, but I enjoyed every single choice. Like the choice
Wow.
that I took to drive through the countryside, through Petaluma, onto the freeway, and then left or right. But it's like the sense of like how many of us think we have to have our life figured out. You get married. I chose that. I got married. I had the full-time job, the kid, the 2 cats, and the dog, and even the car and the truck. All of those things that you think, that's the purpose of life, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
yet, this gift of acknowledging, like, wow, what if every choice I make, even to choose to be on this choice of challenge, and then what I
Mm.
choose afterward actually creates the life, the living, and the future. And I got to tell you, I didn't know that. I had no idea that my choices were creating my future until I came across Access Consciousness that began to have me look at things not from the right and wrong, but really it's like, okay, no choice is right or wrong. What are you choosing and what's that creating?
And I love what you say, that it's like the gift of, what if the gift of life is actually the adventure of it, not the planning. And I know what you mean, because I used to plan a lot. I grew up in Austria, like in the German part of the world, which is plan country, plan land, where everything is planned out. And oh my God, I remember when I started, especially when my life expanded. Um, for example, when I started my own business, I remember things started to get out of control for me, because I used to be employed. I had a full-time job, and everything was ordered there. And then I started to have my self-employance, and then suddenly everything was like, oh my God, I don't know even anymore what's right. What should I do? What is one doing when one is having a business? There were no reference points. Everything was just upside down, and I started to make sure I was doing the right thing. I was starting to create my own structures, which is, okay, it's Monday. Okay, I'm gonna start at, what's a good thing? When am I? 8:30. Okay, that's not too early. It's too late. Okay, 8:30. What am I gonna do? And I had this whole checklist planned out. And I did this for a while, and I felt so right about it. I'm like, okay, this is how I make sure I'm gonna get everything done. I will do a good job. And but I noticed after not a long time, I wasn't having fun anymore.
Mm.
And I was like, why am I choosing to expand my life? Why am I choosing to create my own business if I'm not having fun? And so I asked myself, so what would it take to have fun again? And one part of it was, um, this space of this playground that I allowed myself to have with this business. And then I started to use the question that we talked about, is like, okay, in this moment, what can I choose? What can I do that actually opens up more space, more joy? And then I still had the to-do list, and I still have, up until today, I have lists, because I have to write down so I don't forget, the things that are need to be done. But I learned to ask, okay, so I have this list, and I go, which of these things, um, whose turn is it? Basically, I ask the things on the list, whose turn is it? And then something pops up on the list, and I go, oh, okay, that was unexpected, that I should do this first. And then I do it, and I notice how that contributes to the next thing on the list, which is maybe more down or more up on the list. And it makes the next thing easier, and the next thing easier. It doesn't make sense to do it that way, but it's easy and expansive, and new things show up, and I find new awarenesses and new possibilities. And that's how I really like, so much easier to create
Yeah.
that way.
And I get that part of where I judged myself for so many years is that I wasn't linear, that I wasn't good
Mm.
at
Yep.
following the steps. Whether it was instructions to connect the VCR back then or whatever it was, like that somehow was like it just did something weird in my world, but it was always judged as I didn't do it well. I didn't do it right. I didn't get it right. So part of more of the gift that I've got has been that the chaos that I be, the willingness to ask a question, follow the whispers. And I caught something the other day. Both you and I are here in beautiful Croatia right now. And, it's beautiful. We're on the side of the, what is it? Antarctic, not, no, Andritic Sea or something like
I
that.
don't
Do
know
you know
in
the name of it?
English.
But
Ad,
beautiful ocean water.
yeah, I don't know in English. Yeah.
Adriatica, something like that. But a body of water, incredible body of water. So, in a beautiful new area, that there's this energy. I woke up one day and I was cozy in my bed, sliding door slightly open, ocean view. And I thought, I should get up and go walk. I should go enjoy the ocean like I'm here in a new area, I should. And then I stopped myself and I thought, no, shoulds actually don't live in my world. They are not a valuable product in my world. They're in my living. The shoulds just aren't. So I caught myself because they are there. Like, how many of us, you should go to college, you should get married, you
You should
should
go to
have
the
a
gym.
business, you should, whatever it is. And then at that moment, it was like I brought my yoga mat with me. You know, I laid it out, did some stretches on my own, and my roommate came in and she goes, "Oh my God, there was such this beautiful space, and your body seems so happy." And I thought, wow, what if that's one of the gifts when you actually follow what's true for you outside of the shoulds, and you better, and it's about that time and you're that age, and then whatever that is for you, that freedom to actually follow those soft whispers of what will bring you joy and relaxation and ease, different than the way maybe other people function.
that
Yeah,
that
that.
that guys, did you hear that? It's like the soft whispers. If you go, this is how my day should be, this is what I have to do, that's solid, that's like in your head, in your mind. But if you go, what's possible today, like what would I like, what's available today, then you can hear the universe telling you, hey, what about that, what about that? And it's not a loud thing, it's a very soft whisper. And that's so much more creative. Like, for example, right now, or like my partner and I, we noticed some changes in our bodies, so we asked what's required, and one of the things we got is like, just for some, days, change your diet, just, for exploration, what's possible. So now, like, we took away all the automatic things, like a coffee in the morning, like milk or grains. It's like something we right now oftentimes don't choose in these days. And so what we noticed is, when we wake up in the morning, and we usually have a morning coffee, which is like, of course we have a morning coffee because that's what we always have. Like, or we take a walk, like you say, on the beach, and we're like, there's a nice coffee house, and we're like, okay, of course we're gonna sit there and have an ice cream or a coffee. It's cozy, it's a glass of prosecco. And then we noticed how automatic that is. It's like, this is what we do, this is what we've always done, this is what's cozy.
Yeah.
It's like this old reference points of how we used to create food, like create with food, create with our bodies. But with this kind of like awareness challenge with our bodies, where we really ask, okay, body, like we said at lunch today, do you really want a prosecco right now? And like my head said, oh, it would be so nice with a prosecco now, sitting by the ocean. And then I asked body, do you really, would you like to have a prosecco? And my body went, no. I'm like, wow. So this question of, not just automatic, this is what we do, this is what we've done, this is how I've created my business until yesterday, this is how I've created my body until yesterday, from old reference points. It's like those choices in the moment, body, business, what do you actually require right now in this moment? Like, if, like, letting go of the past, letting go of any reference point. And it's amazing. Like, I always assumed my body, like in the evening, oh, it's having a chocolate, and a glass of wine. Oh my God, it's so nice sitting by the fire, or here on this side. Oh my God, so amazing. And then, but I didn't ask my body, like, do you really want to have a glass of wine? Do you really want to have chocolate? Maybe sometimes yes, but probably also no sometimes. And it's so amazing, the awarenesses I get to have from my body when I actually do choice and question, rather than automatic and reference points.
And with what you're saying right there, Susanna, there's also it's almost like there's a sensation of a fear, which many of us buy into is so real that if you don't choose, to not eat, something, or to, whether it's to go to the gym every morning like that, you think that's going to be a certain result. And I think that's been the biggest trap of like, oh, if I don't choose this, then I'm in trouble later. Really trusting, and I get that it's that first step, like just even in my example of the shoulds of the morning, it's like it wasn't until later that I really got to acknowledge what it created. In the moment, it may be a bit strange, but it is that choice like, no, that actually isn't true for me. Like, this is actually an energy that is nurturing for me. I'm
Yeah.
just going to stay in bed a little while. I have everything I need right here, right now. Not about being right or wrong, but it wasn't until later that I thought, oh, yeah, that was nurturing to me. So those
Totally.
choices, the willingness to make the choice, and then get to see maybe that afternoon, maybe a week later, and maybe never, but trusting you of what you know is that nurturing in that space.
And it's
That-
those conclusions, like you say, it's like we conclude this is what's good for me, this is what's bad for me. Like going to the gym is good, maybe not today, or maybe it is, but
yeah.
ask, or the thing that we do with the food, Jürgen and I, my partner and I, it's like we haven't said, okay, we're going to do this for 14 days. We're like, we're doing this today. Like, no, we're doing this actually not today, we're doing this now.
Mhm.
And then maybe not even the rest of the day, but it's like, really, what if there's no, you have to do this a certain time, because that's basically projecting on the future what you should do, or what is you're supposed to do, rather what's up now, what's possible and available now.
Yeah.
Norma, just hi, interrupt us if you want to say
Yay!
something.
Hi.
Hi.
I just love that you're talking about choose and eating, because this has been also what's up for me with choice in my universe, with my body. And it's what I have been finding out is that when I actually give myself this space to choose, instead of going into the automatic of how I function, I just there's such joy for me. It's like, and it's freeing also. So I'm looking a lot with what I'm eating, and the amount that I'm eating, and coming out of the thing that, oh my God, I love this so much, I have to have that. And when I got that this is just not putting me on the space of choice, it's just a thought that I bought into, and that I made it so real that I thought that I would never escape that. And now that things are changing, I go into, oh my God, that's yummy, but well, that's enough now for now. And it's creating such different space with me, with my body, and how I relate to everything. So, and that has created also this space where I look at so many other areas in my life where I was so used to going into this no choice thing. I have no choice, but I have to blah blah. Uh, so coming out of that is just, I'm at awe with all of that, loving that.
I had also, I love that, like where you go to no choice. And I get that we may have more places in our lives we go to no choice than we've actually acknowledged. Recently, also here out in Croatia, I went out with some friends for dinner. And, the appetizer came in, and, I think the first dish came in, but there came a point like I was done. I was tired. It had been a long day. And there was a moment, it's like, I gotta go. And there was still one more dish to come. That was mine that I had ordered. And I looked at the table and I looked at my friend and I said, I think I'm gonna go. Like, I'm gonna go. And I'll go, let me know how much it is. I can leave you money. I'll pay you later. That plate, whoever wants it, give it to them. But it was really that choice of honoring me and my body. Like, it would not have been fun for me to stay longer. But that has been a muscle of that choice, the willingness to choose for me, the willingness to honor that. And the truth is, the people in my life, they get it. Like, they get like, no, go take care of you. They don't take it personal. And if someone does take it personal, it's like, I'm sorry, but actually me and my body are a valuable product. Like, I'm going to choose what's going to create more here. But how many people go out to dinner or choose something and force themselves to stay and then go into the, no, I don't have a choice. I have to say, now they're all staying till midnight. Now they're going to go to the karaoke bar. I should go with them. I should, what a party pooper if I don't. It's like, no, like what actually works for you, and to honor you and know that you always have a choice.
That is so applicable to so many areas. It's like how many people go into relationships and think, oh my God, I'm stuck, or I'm married. I married this person, so now I'm stuck. I have children, now I'm stuck. I don't have choice anymore. And I had this friend years ago, and it was prior to her wedding. And she's like, I love this guy so much, and I'm so grateful for him, having him in my life. And we're going to get married. And I'm, on the one hand, I'm really excited about it. And on the other hand, I'm terrified because I feel like my life is over. I'm stuck, this is it. And so we talked about it, and I said, so what if you wake up every morning and you give yourself choice, and you ask, so truth, do I still today, like today, do I desire to be with this person? And she said that question, she's like, oh my God, it created so much freedom in her world, where she like, just because I'm married doesn't mean I don't have choice. I can choose in every moment. Would I like to be with this person? Or I did that with my job when I was full-time employed back in the days in psychiatry. And I had this job as a psychologist, and I loved it. And at the same time, I'm like, I knew I had to be there every day at 8 a.m, and I had to be there until 5. And even if the patients were it was all done and good, and all the tests were, all the tests I did were done, and everything, I still had to sit there and be there until 5, which is so weird for us creative people, right? And so there was a time where I was dreading this, like because I had this thing in my world, I have to do this because I have this job, I don't have choice. And I said to myself, wait a second, is that really true? Like we all know, what's true makes you feel lighter, what's heavy is a lie. So I asked myself, truth, do I really not have choice? Wow, that was heavy. I'm like, okay, there's some lie here. So I use some access tools like POC that, or interesting point of view. I have this point of view that I don't have choice here. And then I went, okay, so what if I give myself choice every day before I go to work, and ask, okay, so do I desire to go to work today? And I was really like honest with myself. Is it a yes or a no? And with that, like 99% of the times, it was a yes. And then I chose to drive to work, and I chose to be at work. And it was a totally different experience. It was totally different to actually choose to be at work. I could receive my colleagues. I could receive my work. I could have totally different ideas and perspectives. I had like, I'm in charge. I'm committed to this. And then there was only one time where I got a no. Today, I don't want to go. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting, but it's kind of light. So I'm going to, be crazy here and allow myself to not go to work, and call my boss and say, I'm not going to come. I don't feel good. And then on that day, there was a person who had how do you say, like an arm and like a weapon, a fire weapon. And he was threatening the whole staff of the psychiatry. And it was a whole big thing that got out of this, and lawsuit, and and police involved, a whole dramatic thing. And I missed it, which was amazing. But that came from the question, what do I know? But that choice thing really made totally created change in my world. And everything got so much easier, because then when I got a yes, I was committed to it. I'm like, I'm doing this. And there was so much more receiving possible.
And I wonder, with what you're saying, Susanna, as well, like for the people listening, if there are areas in your life where you're dreading going to work, or you're, sometimes even dreading to go home because you don't want to deal with who's there. It's like what could you ask in that moment? Those questions you said, but really it's like, what other choice do I have here that I'm not acknowledging? When things started to lock down, what is it now, almost 2 years ago or so, I move around quite a bit, and I found myself in one spot for close to 3 weeks. And a close friend of mine said, "I'm so glad you're stuck here." And I thought, did you say stuck? Am I stuck? Am I functioning from stuck? Because for me, when someone says stuck, is you have no choice. And I thought, wait a moment, am I functioning from no choice? Like, what other choice do I have? And from that single question, I could then see, literally see, hear all the other choices that were available. Like, maybe it was 10 miles away, but I had another choice. I could pay more money, I could stay somewhere else, or I could go, and then from there on, it was opening after opening, and I haven't stopped traveling since. But if I would have lived from this is the way it is, I'm stuck, which, different circumstances for a lot of people. And even when you feel the most stuck, what if that could be your new question? What other choice do I have available right now that I haven't considered? And it may just be as simple as opening your window. It may be walking down the street, whatever it is. But it's like if we're not actually functioning from question, we will live as stuck and no choice. And that I know is not very fun.
Not at all. uh, I was like, just very quickly, just as if I was watching a movie now, from when I first started using the tools. And I remember when I heard like choice for the first time, I went into this thing that was almost, back then, I remember I would call it being paralyzed. What do you mean? Choose? I will choose. What is that? Oh my God! How is that? What's gonna happen? How come? So I could never choose. How come now it's choose? And isn't there like a recipe or something to follow, a step by step procedure or something like that? And just now watching this like movie again, and then I was like asking questions in a certain way about that choice. What would that be for me? And yes, there was this big intensity for me, because then at the time I was like, oh, I'm afraid of that. This is what I first called it. But now I see that even back then I was aware that so much could change, and there was this excitement for this huge change that would come up. So it wasn't like, oh, from one day to the other, I started choosing. Not at all. How it was asking lots of questions. And I remember uh, I was living on my previous relationship, and I would ask, okay, what are the choices do I have here? I don't know how many times I asked that. And one day I was like, hey, I can say no to this specific situation. And and it was very light in my world to say no. And I was there and I said, no. That simple no. Changed everything, like upside down and all around. And it was the first time that I got this chance, this awareness, or this energy of me choosing for me. That was a no. I wasn't going to do. Don't even remember what it was, but I just said no. And from there, immediately, it was as if I started using my own energy to feed me, to allow it to grow, to allow me to be. And that opened up so many other possibilities. I can tell you guys, it was amazing. And then, yeah, it's been a road. And yeah, choosing a little more and more and more. But that very first, the first time, it was game changing.
Wow, I love that, Norma. When you had, first of all, I love the energy you convey. And that's like this enthusiasm, this joy of creating your life, the adventure of creating your life, not having to figure out how do I get where I think I have to go? It's like so many, the goals, the visions, the visualizations. I have to achieve this. I have to go there, and it's like, how many times when you guys um, think you have to go somewhere with your life, create something wonderful, amazing, like, honestly, who does this belong to? Like, are those wishes yours, or are they what you're supposed to wish? Are they what other people want you to wish or not wish, based on other people's points of view? Like, I remember before Access, I was creating a life where other people were happy with it. And I thought I was happy until I noticed I wasn't happy. Like, I was the only person who wasn't happy. Everybody else was super happy with my life because I created it so perfectly, exactly how you're supposed to be successful. But I wasn't happy. It wasn't enough for me. It was too small of a box. And then the first time I asked me, what would I like as my future? And that was totally different than my parents, different than my family, different than my colleagues. And of course, there were a lot of judgments. But then I'm like, it's such a high price to pay to make other people's judgments relevant rather than committing to my future and creating what I know is possible. And at that moment, I didn't have much of a clue what exactly I would like, but I started with every choice and every moment to find out what I like. Because it's like what you said, Norma. How many times do you guys out there really include you in your choices? How many times do you choose for other people so they're happy with you, so you fulfill their needs rather than, okay, wait a second, I feel their needs, I'm aware of their needs speak very loud, they shine. Okay, I can hear you. What space can I be beyond them? What space can I be beyond them? It's like an eagle that soars above everything. The eagle is like, or the seagull, or whatever you prefer. And it's like, it's aware of everything, but it doesn't make it his. It's like, I see what you do. Sometimes make a little poo on you, just because I can. But then the rest, I'm just like soaring and, like, where's the lightness? It's like, what if we start to follow the lightness with the choices we make, not just take care of the solidity and the problems, because those melt upon lightness. And it's incredible. So if you guys hear this for the first time, just like, what if you just receive it, let it in, don't try to get it, and you will see, the more you will do, like, use access tools, or maybe you do some classes or listen to videos, it will gradually make more sense. Maybe it won't make sense, but it will gradually make itself into your world. It will gradually create more space in your world where you get to soar above all this insanity that's so real right now. So it's like, what do you desire as your life? If you include you, what choice can you start with in this moment?
And thank you for that, Susanna. I recently, and this is where, like, I've been playing with the tools for a little over 10 years. And, but there's certain energies that show up a little more intense now than they did before. And, what Norma said and what you added, there is a space that I'm becoming aware of that has more of the sense of when I'm honoring and including me. And it is a space. The closest thing I might come to describing it is that I'm relaxed. There's this sense of joy, and it's not this whoa always. Sometimes it's just oh, like I like the moment. I like me. I like, I'm like from the sense of like, yeah, that works. But recently, and I started to notice where, both my parents, every time I go into the California state, they end up in ER. And I'm like, that's it. I'm not coming anymore. But there seems to be a certain choice with the people around me that somehow has a trigger in my world where then it has nothing to do about me. I need to worry about them. And I begin to notice that's where I'm losing myself. When I make it a necessity and an obligation to care for my son, to care for my parents, fly, immediately as quick as I can. But I'm becoming aware of there's certain choices I'm making where my world goes, eh. And so this last trip, when I went into California, I thought, what am I doing here? And so I'm here. What would I like to choose? So, given that I'm in my hometown, I have a place, my family lives there, I actually booked myself into this beautiful resort inn for the night when I landed. And I thought, oh, the fireplace, the wine, but there was something there that was congruent to me that worked for me. That, if I would have told everybody in my family, they'd be like, are you crazy paying that amount of money? You're in your hometown. But it's like, where have you guys judged yourself wrong and crazy for the choices that actually work for you? And it gave me the space to show up and then go, okay, am I flying out tomorrow? Am I choosing to stay? Whatever it is. And how would I like to be and engage with this situation now? Rather than going in and being at the reaction of the situation. And that was a first. It was not a cheap night. But what if, for me, in my reality now, it's like, what if money wasn't the big issue? What if it's what it's creating and gifting me that's going to contribute to something greater? Because I know my choice created so much for so many other people, whether it was directly, whether they knew about it, but what I was able to be in that space was different. So, what choices are you making in your life that are in reaction to, that keep you from actually being in true choice or in question? And what have you made it your obligation and a necessity that keeps you from actually seeing what other choices are available? And I just one little other piece, it's like, if you've been playing with the Access Conscious tools for a long time, or you just heard about them today, it's like, what if the adventure is just pick one? Use one of these questions that we're giving you today, or another one that you heard. Explore it. See for yourself what it creates for you. Because not until you actually get it for you, it could be a handbook of all these things, but you have to actually acknowledge what it's creating in your life. So play with one of them.
There's one question in the chat. So as asking, so every time it's kind of like what Sylvia already talked about. Every time I'm starting my sessions, my parents get sick. I'm asking, what choice am I making in that? It's funny, like, so how many times when this happens, and Sylvia talked about it a little bit. So someone, like, you do something, someone chooses whatever, to get upset or sickness, and then you think, oh, what did I do wrong? Because, like, the question of what did I choose, is that really a question, what did I choose? Or are you looking for the wrongness of you? And are you really, really wrong? Or are you just highly, highly aware? And how many, like, do your parents have any needs of you? And this is a big, 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 big subject. Like, needs is one of the places where we actually dump choice. We go, okay, somebody needs us. Ta-da! Superwoman is coming. I just had a great dinner, but I am coming because you need me. And we dump our choice. We dump ourselves, and we just do and deliver whatever the person requires. And the invitation is here, even in the face of choice, even in the face of need, you have choice. Okay, even in the face of the hugest family, whatever mega need, you have choice. So what if you just go, okay, I sense their needs, I hear them really loudly. If I deliver what they want me to deliver, what future will that create? If I don't deliver what they want, what future will that create? And then you just go, which one opens up more? And then you do what, like, follow whatever is lighter. It's like it's like we've been taught that if we dump choice and if we fulfill people's needs, we're kind. That is actually a lie. You know, there are moments when you don't fulfill someone's needs. That's actually kindness, because you not fulfilling their needs makes them go, huh, what's happening? It puts them in question. It invites them to choice. It's actually a very empowering thing to do. You're not mean if you don't fulfill people's needs. If you do it from question, you will lead the future. You will know what's required. And then you actually gift the other person choice with your not delivering right away, but asking a question, what will it create? And this is a biggie. This is something all of us are becoming more and more aware of every day. Where am I fulfilling people's needs and dumping my choice? Rather, and not creating, not creating the space that I could create from.
But that's actually a good point, not creating. Because what are you creating with that choice? Because it's like looking at the choices we're making every day. What if every choice is actually creating the next possible choice you have, and the next possible choice, and the next, and really that future that you say you'd like? But again, the little caveat here is also, what if you didn't judge the choice you just made this morning, this afternoon? Because if you're actually judging any choice you've made, you're actually not willing to receive the gift of what that choice created, that now gives you more of a sense like, all right, that definitely was not something I really enjoyed. So what other choice do I have, and what would I like to create? But if you judge it, you actually will not receive from it at all. So if there was no right choice, no wrong choice, what would you choose? And what if that each choice is a gift? Like it gives you more of a sense, oh, that created more space in my world. No, that didn't. And then just that, you get to play. What if you played, even if you put an hour, maybe even 30 minutes? Because it seems like, oh yeah, a full day, and it's a big deal. It is. If you haven't functioned from being aware of what every choice creates, a full day is a big day. But what if you started off, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and said, okay, I'm going to set my alarm, and I'm just going to notice what every choice creates. Oh, I can notice my body desiring water. I'm going to go drink water. Like, what did that choice create for you in your body? Sitting down when your feet are tired. I mean, it could seem like the smallest thing, and yet it starts to create a momentum of living, of joy, of honoring, of space that in the busyness in the head, monkey mind, we forget that we can perceive what every choice will create if we're willing to ask and listen.
I even also love doing that with even with 1 minute when I go like, where am I? Like, okay, for the next minute, I'm gonna choose every 10 seconds. And for 1 whole minute, I do it like that, like asking, what will I choose now? And like you said, Sylvia, and for me also, it creates this space once again of choosing and knowing that I can choose. And then it's very kind of, I would say, magical in the sense that it opens up like possibilities that weren't there before, because it takes us out of that automatic thinking or feeling stuff. And when you are present with you, with your life, with what's around you, then you have a different choice available for you. So even if it's for 1 minute, Wow, it's amazing what it can create. Try it.
Yeah, there's so many amazing access tools available. Holy moly. So if you guys out there now sense how you're doing with this conversation, is this, I mean, you made the choice to come here to this Facebook Live. What is this creating for you, and how is your world right now? Is there less space? Is there more space? What if you just notice what your choice of coming here to this Facebook Live and listening to us creates for you, and you receiving what we say, receiving everything that's going on beyond words, because there's a lot beyond words. You letting that in and you receiving that, what future is that creating for you? Like, this is not a mental exercise here. It's really like Norma said, in the moment right now, you're sitting here listening to us. What more can I choose to receive here from these ladies? What can I add to this? What can this add to my life? And all of these questions and choices that contribute to a different future, um, it's truly where things move. Things get to move in your life. Your future is not a stuck thing, a fixed kind of whatever, yeah, thing. It's something you create with every choice you make in every moment. And again, there's no right choice, there's no wrong choice, there's just choice. And this is maybe a bit dissatisfying for your mind, that there's nothing you can do right or wrong. We all have been there. We've all gone, but come on, like, there must be a better choice. Like, I have these like 50 choices. Come on, which of those is the best one? Tell me, guru, tell me, whoever. But there's no guru. There's just you who chooses.
Or the pros and cons list. I remember
Yay, that one.
pros, cons, which one has the most? So I know what the best choice, the better result. Yeah. I mean,
And then
and
there's like the plus and the minus, and there's one more on the plus side. You go, is this enough? Should there be more on the plus side for this to be a good choice?
but also, like, notice the humor of it all. Like, we've been there, right? Whether it was that task list, whether it was, pros and cons, whatever it was for you. Like, what if you could also laugh about it? Because I mean, that's what we've seen, that's what we learned, whether it was a training or our mentor or teacher, whatever. And it's like, not right or wrong, but is it still working for you? Is it? The only one that will know is you. And if it is, great. Like, keep choosing that. And this is where, like, there's no one perfect recipe, there's no blueprint. And as you notice, we are not selling you a blueprint. We're actually giving you different spaces and energies of what we've chosen, what we've noticed, so that maybe it gives you a hint of something that will spark in your world to go, oh, that sounds familiar. Or, yes, that. But you actually know. And I know for me, that was the invitation that I had not received in any other body of work, training, whatever, until I came to Access, empowering people to know that they know. And I remember going, I know? Like, I've been searching at churches and, teachers, and I know? Like, are you crazy? Like, who's going to trust what I know? Because I don't even trust what I know. And what if that's the beginning journey of asking a question? It's like, what works for me? Yes, no, yes, okay. But what if that's the journey? You get to build that muscle of empowering yourself to know that you do know. And it's not about right, not about wrong. Um, yeah. So what else is available now?
So what if we, like, it feels like we're going
Yes.
to the end. Okay, so what if we did do a little game at the end, like, all of you out there, maybe you're sitting in the chair, or driving a car, or sitting in the sun, if it's a different part of the world than we are right now. Wherever you are right now, imagine you have 10 seconds left to live the rest of your life. It's just a game, don't worry. um, 10 seconds. What are you choosing right now? Like for me right now, I'm like, okay, how much more comfortable can I sit here in this chair? Okay. So now 10 seconds are over. You have another 10 seconds to live the rest of your life. What are you choosing?
And for me, it was taking that deep breath, like, oh, oxygen. Wow. Yeah. Mm.
For me, it's relaxing. Yeah.
Wow. And guys, see, it's not like, oh my God, in these 10 seconds, if I have 10 seconds to live the rest of my life, I'm going to swim with dolphins. It's like, yeah, I mean, maybe you sit in your living room, there are no dolphins right now. It's like, notice how we've learned to think ourselves somewhere else rather than in this very moment where you sit right now. What are you going to choose? And you had these examples of relaxing, making it more comfortable, taking a deep breath, or maybe for you guys it's, oh, I'm going to receive even more, I'm going to amp up my receiving in these 10 seconds. It's truly a practice to choose in 10 seconds increments. Yeah.
So, what if that's the invitation for you, just to notice your choices? Not right or wrong, not good or bad. And are you actually including you in your choices? Yeah. And
What if making mistakes could be fun? Hello. It's like we don't have to be the most perfect person
what?
choosing. Yeah. How come? No, yeah.
Totally.
Didn't work. Choose again.
I'm just going to read some of the things that the people wrote in the chat when we ask what I'm going to choose. I'm choosing more and more joy. I'm saying out loud to my lover that I love him. I'm going to choose the space of receiving deliciousness, more joy and more money. The first choice that came to mind was like, that's a wrong choice. Okay, more space. Yeah. So all these examples, get inspired. Like we can inspire each other with the ease of choosing in every moment.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Sylvia,
Thank you,
Norma.
Susanna, Norma.
Thank
And thank
you.
you for
Thank you
everyone
too,
that's
Susanna.
watched live or the recording. Because just you watching, what is it contributing and creating? And thank you for all the back end people. And we have 4 more lives to go. So join us back in the same Facebook group. We'll have more people tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. And then we close it up and wrap it up with Brendan Watts. So definitely tell your friends, invite them to watch us and contribute with your chats or your messages live. So thank you all. Until
Thank you.